far away we go, to a land that's far across the sea. Hey, 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 for a little while we'll stay and be home in time for tea. Set sail, in sunshine or in gale. Fun we'll have will be really grand. Hurrah, hurrah, follow the guiding star and come with us to Adventure Island. It was a time when children's television was magical and fantastical, low budget but well-meaning, and a real part of the golden age of the sock puppet. Bing bong, sound that sailing gong. For now we're leaving for Adventure Island.
Hello, and welcome to Adventure Island. It's just wonderful to be back with you once again, and it's wonderful to be able to welcome you to Adventure Island. Well, actually, we're not in Adventure Island yet. We get there through this book. Every time I open this book, it transported me right to Adventure Island, and I can take you there too. You wish with me every Monday, and we'll get there. You ready? Right, close your eyes and wish just for a second.
Happening? This is like a really spooky episode of Changing Rooms. Oh my goodness me. It's the original host of the Magic Circle Club and Adventure Island. It's Nancy Cato! Nancy, what do you feel when you look at that, clip?
Overwhelming love and joy and just gratitude that I was given that opportunity to work with our Australian kids.
Oh, and what a show it was.
And you were one of them.
I certainly was.
I remember you. Every time we sat down to do this show, you were the kid who used to...
I was waving. Did you see me through the...
Absolutely.
That's why I love you, Nancy, because I almost believed you there for a minute. Nancy, I have to ask you, what was in that book?
That was the book of life.
Ah.
That was the book of magic. It was the book of secrets. It was the book of all the stories that have always been told and all the stories that were about to be told.
And also probably just a little bit of your script in case you'd lost your way.
I was not given a
You weren't scripted?
No, I was the only human being. Well, I was supposed to be the only human being in the show, and everyone else was scripted. It was totally scripted, but...
By John Michael Housen?
By John Michael Housen.
Who was Clown. We used to love Clown when we were kids because... Oh, Clown!
Yes.
To say hello to you, nothing could be grander, and a great big welcome to from Percy and Dodo Panda.
I'm the meanest person on Adventure Island. And in fact, I'm the meanest person in the whole world. I want the money you owe me.
What for?
For dancing on the street.
Well, I won't pay it. It's daylight robbery.
Neither will I. I let my flowers wilt before I pay it. Will you pay it, Clown?
I what?
The fine.
What fine?
The fine for dancing in the street.
I wasn't dancing in the street.
Oh, yes, you were.
I was not.
You were, Clown.
Was I? Oh, I've forgotten. And Lisa, why was I dancing on the street?
To welcome the girls and boys.
What girls and boys?
Those girls and boys.
TV was a lot camper then, and I think it had a profound influence on me.
I suppose a little bit like the old pantomime.
Exactly.
And tradition, and rather than camp. And that's, I think, part of the magic of it. And it was fantastic.
It was.
We used to get sacks and sacks of mail.
Well, that's the thing. I'm sitting here on a toadstool with Nancy Cato, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed.
I have to break some news to you, Mark.
What?
It wasn't a toadstool.
Wasn't it a
Magic Circle
toadstool?
Club. It was a mushroom.
What did you say? It was a mushroom. It was a magic mushroom.
Now, Adventure Island grew out of the Magic Circle Club. What was the connection between those two shows?
Godfrey Phillip, the wonderful director of Magic Circle Club, and John Michael Howson, who wrote the script. And, of course, Magic Circle Club started not on the ABC, I have to say. It was on a commercial television.
It was on the O10 network.
It must have been 63, 64.
About 64, I think.
Yes, I was a child star.
You were?
Yes, well, I was a paraplegic in between those two things. A lot of people don't know that, I suppose, but I fell off the rainbow in Magic Circle Club.
Was it during a show?
Yes.
Wow.
The publicity came out that I'd broken my toe.
Right.
But yes... Well,
anything more would have frightened the kiddies?
Well, yes.
I guess so.
Yes, it would have been a
How
bit
extraordinary. So you are a bit accident-prone?
You might say that.
Because tell us about your audition.
I was on my way to my very first audition for television, and we collided with another car.
Oh, God.
And my head went into the windscreen, and I ended up with, like Herman Munster, with my head out here and black eyes down here. And the ambulance came and said, "We're taking you to hospital." And I said, "No, I have a very important engagement." I must have been concussed out of my brain. And I went to the audition. And Ron Williams, the wonderful general manager who's no longer with us, he came out and he said, "You really are serious? You think that you would pass an audition as a hostess of a television station?" I said, "You won't be able to run this station without me." And he said, "You've got the guts to come here looking like that, you've got the job."
Fantastic! Fancy Cato, everybody.
Now, I mean, children's videos are freely available, and my horror is that most of them have stopped learning how to read because they sit in front of their set, and when there's not anything on television for them, they shove in a video and off they go. And sometimes I think, why don't they just sit and read a book? You know,
or even better, have someone read it to them.
Yeah,
read
absolutely.
a book? What about the PlayStation?
Exactly.
Yeah, Dylan, what about the PlayStation?
Reading books takes so long, you can watch the movie in 2 hours instead of reading the... Who needs to read Harry Potter when you can watch the movie? I don't see a need to read
Don't you think the books
anymore.
are more magic, though? Aren't they letting the kids use their own imagination?
There's a place for that amongst everything else, I think. But the whole idea of reading and writing and QWERTY typewriters and things like that, that's redundant. We need to move on to the next era. I think now you can speak to your computer and it'll type out. It'll make up a new thing of what you've been saying, of course.
But what's the point of saying something to your computer unless it's creative? And where are you going to get the creativity from if it's not from the traditional things that you watch, the stories and legends? The innocence of childhood is never going to go away.
Because there's always a fresh supply of young children.
Yeah, but we, as a growing nation, must take risks. We have to learn that we can stand on our own feet and rely on our own wonderful cultural heritage and use that, not rely on some other group somewhere or some other...
Do you think that needs to be regulated or put in place?
No, I just think we've got to have people who are much braver.
Some pride in our nation and our ideas would be great.
That's what I don't like about Nancy. She makes so much sense.
I beg your pardon.
You make so much sense all the time. That was very well said, and I applaud you. Well, if I could.
Now, when Magic Circle Club and Adventure Island and Mr. Squiggle were on air, I don't know if anybody ever gave any thought to merchandising, and now they invent the they invent the show to sell the merch, don't they?
They did. I refused to advertise Violet Crumble because even back then we felt that commercialism and this whole sense of greed was trying to take over. And this was on a commercial network.
See, now you took a stance and I took $1.5 million. What's going on?
Agro.
Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
If you hadn't eaten so many Violet Crumbles, you'd have all your teeth instead of half of them.
She nailed me.
We really must knock that naughty clock that says it's time to go. I mean, it goes so fast. Our time has passed, and we must end our show.